10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you got us. It's another week live on the Player's Perspective. We are here. Come on in, come on in. Let your friends know that we are back. The duo, my man K Solo.
What's up, brother?
And T Cub.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
From the left, from the right, and above. Getting this thing off and popping, y'all. It's a win. It's a win. It's a win. Georgia Tech wins on Saturday over USF, 14-10, Ken, and we are now in the winner's bracket.
Yes, and that's exactly where we want to be. That's exactly what I like to see. Oh my God, we went into that game knowing we needed a win. We're looking for a win and finally found one.
We said to each other before that it didn't matter how we got it, as long as we got it. And I think that made us prophetic in a way, because that's exactly how it came.
That's exactly how it came through. That's exactly how it came.
Probably wasn't beautiful, but I don't know. A win is always beautiful in my eyes, brother.
Oh yes.
Because I mean, you sometimes you play great, sometimes you don't play so great, but if you still come out with a W, that's all that matters.
That's exactly what matters. That's at the end of the day, whether it was by 1 point, by 4 points, by half a point, you know what I'm saying? That's all you want, is to get that W. And that was exciting. It was Coach Collins' first win.
Yep.
So now we can move on to other things and other plateaus, and hopefully we can string a couple together.
Well, if you saw our post game, we actually filled you guys in on some of the exciting stats of what's going on. And since then, congratulations to Mr. Ballhawk himself, Charlie Thomas the third.
Yes.
He is the linebacker of the week.
There you go. In the ACC,
in the ACC. And so great kudos to him, and congratulations, my brother. You deserved it. You played a heck of a game out there, and you did a great job with that. If I'm not mistaken, you had 9 tackles. He had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for loss.
Yep.
So that brother was all around, man.
All over the place.
We talk about him all the time, kid. I'm telling you, it was just something about him last year that we talked about it, that every game we were watching and we were just looking at different things come on. And then we finally looked at each other and just said, who is this Charlie Thomas kid that's just always around the ball? But I mean, it's just great to see him continuing on with that success this year, doing some great things out there in a new defense, new defensive system, and working within his team, and doing basically what comes natural to him, is going out there and playing good football.
And that's the thing. I think we talk about it, and Charlie's. I don't even think he knows it just yet. But every system he's been in, he's been productive in it.
Okay.
So what that tells me about him is his football acumen is really high.
Yes.
He has a great understanding of how to be around the football.
Yep.
How to make himself small, because he's playing inside linebacker. I don't know if he's ever played inside linebacker before.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
He's doing
because he was outside last year. I saw him Saturday, didn't miss any run fits.
Exactly.
Has a great understanding of how to play in traffic,
right,
as well as play in the open field,
right.
Because he made a play Saturday afternoon. I'll tell you, it would have took, some seniors wouldn't have made that play that he made Saturday.
Exactly right.
With knowing what his responsibility was, number one.
Right.
Number two, how to slow play it, and how not to, to give himself up before the guy crossed the line of scrimmage and all that good stuff. And then number 3, making the play.
It was just awesome to see him do that. You could just see it was almost like an animation where they show it breathing,
right.
And he was just sort of just pacing himself, just ready to pounce. But he allowed the play to develop, come to him, and then knew the down and distance, what he had to do there, not to, like you say, jump the gun or get overzealous and that type of stuff, but allow it to develop and then just take the guy down and make them punt.
Right, and that's the thing that we talk about, and you and I have talked about it before. Is having that kind of you want all your ball players to have that kind of ability to slow themselves down in the middle of a ball game.
Right.
And I know when you're a freshman or when you're young and you're playing and you're at a different level, it seems like everything is in light speed, you know, because it's something you've never seen before.
Exactly.
It's something you've never experienced before. So it seems like it's really running fast. But for him, it seems like the game has really slowed down a whole lot.
Right.
And that has made him so much better. And you can see it kind of permeating throughout the defense, really.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, this defense is going to be a whole lot better than we anticipated it being.
Yes.
And I know we're strong on the back end. In the secondary with the two big safeties back there, Tariq Carpenter and Wanya Thomas. Those guys really make things kind of hard on guys because they're real rangy.
Exactly.
Real rangy.
Exactly. Well, you're talking about somebody rangy is Chico Bennett too.
Yeah.
Young freshman coming out there and doing some things good, some good stuff off the edge.
Right.
Coming out there and making some plays, complimenting what they do on defense. And then, of course, Ken, in past defenses and different things that you play, you got a lot of stuff that requires the defensive line just to kind of hold up linemen and allow the linebackers to scrape and that kind of stuff. And then you've got defenses that allow everybody to get involved, getting pressure upfield, moving up there, looking for the tackle, and everybody swarming to the ball.
Right.
Well, you're looking at some good stuff there with Chico that he had on there. And you look at who else was it? I think it's Jaquan Henderson out there. But a lot of those guys being able to get upfield and do some stuff there to really get some pressure. And Antoine Owens, and that's what I was talking about there too.
Right.
But guys that on defense that were able to get some pressure on the quarterback, something we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I think these guys are really comfortable in this system, and they really have a great you can tell they really understand where they fit within the system. One way I read defenses and kind of understand that people know what's going on, I always look at the safeties, number one. Right. I look at the linebackers and see how they're communicating with each other and seeing if they are actually talking to each other and knowing what's going on and being able to recognize things as they happen and develop in front of them and putting people in the right position. Right. And it seems as if the system has been simplified a little bit and made to where they are not just reacting to something. And that's the beautiful thing I'm liking about it is it's not a reactive kind of situation. They are actually putting pressure on people. They're doing the things that are necessary to get in the right run fits. In the pass game, the press coverage is beautiful. Is a beautiful thing to see. You got long safeties and you got long cornerbacks that are able to play and do those things and make it work, and everybody's doing their job, you know what I'm saying? So, I look at, from a safety and from a cornerback's perspective, I always look at when you're doing press coverage, if the guy that is in the press coverage is taking false steps or if he's making false moves, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing that, then you don't really need to be impressed. If you're having false steps, if you're having all of that stuff where you're reaching and not letting the guy come to you almost, and getting your hands on them, because I look at those cornerbacks every single time they're impressed, they're able to get their hands on somebody. That's good, and that's real good stuff, and that's what you really want in the system that Coach Stacker has, and it's been exciting to me. I mean, I know we won, and I know we held on to it, but there was so much maturity that happened in that game Saturday because the game could have been lost. Yeah. They were on the 1 yard line.
They were right on the 1 line. I'm telling you, absolutely. Ready to take the lead back over and put us in a position to have to come from behind. It'd have been interesting to see how well we responded to that. Right. Because we were playing pretty good. I mean, it was a little bit of a stalemate, but you can see the development coming along. Right. So far as where we were and as a unit. And to me, Ken, even if that should have happened, I believe we still would have won the game. But we did something that basically to me was even better, and that was coming up with a stop. And then not only stopping the guys, but coming with the ball. So therefore you can nullify any kind of points of those guys having a chance to get anything down there.
Yeah, and that was a kind of a miracle play. Was it TK Chimenza that had the turnover there? The young man, the running back from USF tried to reach over the line. They knocked the ball loose, and TK comes out with it. And he in the press conference he talked about he wanted you take off running. But he realized, hey, I got the ball. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Let me get down.
Let me get down.
And you see a lot of guys make that mistake too. I mean, well, we had a great year a while back under the O'Leary years where you had a lot of scooping and scoring going on. And I guess one thing you want to make sure that if you do scoop, you better score.
You better score.
And definitely don't end up turning over the ball and giving the possession back to the other team.
Right.
You want to make sure you do that kind of stuff too. We're so happy that you guys are joining us another week here on The Player's Perspective. Come on in. Give a call to all of the Yellow Jacket fans out there. Let them know that we are live right here on Facebook and on YouTube. And we also recording our podcast for Spreaker. Oh, Spreaker. I always want to say something different, but on Spreaker. And so we're just basically doing what we can to get the word out to you all, letting you know what's going on and then having that out there. And we enjoy hearing from you all, talking about how, I was driving down the street and I pulled up your podcast.
There you go.
I had to go to work out of town, and I pulled you guys up on Facebook and watched your old videos, that kind of stuff. That's good stuff. And so we need you to kind of tune in down there. Let us know where you're watching us from, and maybe click on those like tabs and let us know what you like and what you're hearing out there. We really appreciate your support. It's good to see Dexter Printup, old tech grad up there, good friend of mine out there. He's joining us tonight. We got Real Talk Sports. He's up in there. Miss Francine, she's up in the house and saying hello. My cousin Scott McLee out there on the West Coast, making sure that we are going coast to coast. Right here with A Player's Perspective. And Linda Ayers. Linda Ayers is out there saying, go Tech, absolutely. And then my darling, precious wife out there saying, hello, guys, how you doing? She's watching and checking in on us, too. And so we've got a lot of you guys checking in on us, and we appreciate your support. Awesome opportunity to kind of see a home game. The recorded attendance was 46,000, something like that on Saturday.
Really?
It was recorded 49,000.
That was the amount of tickets that was sold.
And it was a hot day. Yeah. It was a real hot day. And so
I melted twice. I felt like Frosty the Snowman in the worst way, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's right.
I was, it was rough getting over there because this season the parking lot that we normally park in has been confiscated and is now going to be a new building over at Georgia Tech.
Right.
And that has always been amazing to me. I know it's been almost 30 years since we've been there.
Right.
But it's crazy how there is no new land, but there are always new buildings.
New buildings. And then, of course, you look in the rural areas, everything it goes out, spreads out.
Right.
And then you come into the city, everything goes straight up. and I was laughing, King, because, we were walking across the campus and you kept looking and saying, Cuz, where are we? What's going on? And I had that same experience driving one time. I was driving through downtown and came up on 14th and Peachtree.
Okay.
I didn't know where I was. And I looked around. I said, hold up, where am I? I thought maybe the wrong turn or something. And I said, I should be here. But looking around, you saw different stuff. And that's just Atlanta. It's constantly changing.
Right.
Constantly changing. New stuff all the time.
Right.
And I think that's the kind of the atmosphere we're trying to capture with the 404.
Right.
And everything and what's happening. And then, of course, you got a lot of transients down here and people coming down wanting to see good football. And so the thing is, they have a chance to do that and join in on the swarm down there on Techwood and Bobby Dodd.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the segue. That's the our stamp on this whole thing is that this is going up. This thing is going. This program is on the rise and it's on the way to higher heights and all that good stuff. Because what Coach Collins has done in his first 10 months of being on campus has really changed the atmosphere.
There you go.
It's really changed a lot of the how we feel about Georgia Tech and making us proud again. So now as we always say, we get to that part of where we have to win.
There you go.
And we've got to maybe we weren't satisfied in the first week with some of the things we saw because we thought we were going to see something just totally drastic.
Right.
And I think our expectations were totally different than what maybe the team expectations were, and maybe even the coaches' expectations were at that moment. But this week we saw them kind of unfurl some different things.
Yes.
We still got a 3-quarterback system, which, I'm teetering and tottering on it.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like it because they are taking the guys that we have and they are, kind of putting them in the best situations for their talent level.
Exactly.
And what they can do, and the kind of polishing them up and making them do the things that they want to do. We talked about it Saturday, how they played a lot more of Lucas Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
We asked for more Lucas Johnson. They gave
it.
We got us a little more Lucas Johnson.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
And that was really good. I think he can develop into a really good ball player. I want to see him throw the ball downfield a little bit more. I think the more they do it, and that's what anything that in life, the more you do it, the more comfortable you are at doing it, and the more proficient you become in doing it.
Right.
So
that's
and that's the thing you have to gain. I want to see the coaches gain confidence in the players to put them in those positions. And the only thing that's going to help that is when those guys get in those positions that they make plays.
And that was just our biggest concern in week one. We really felt that to hold and go back to something, they may have known what to do, and the fact didn't help us moving forward. And going forward into last week's game, you saw guys having a chance to throw the ball downfield. I think you're starting to see these little numbers and stats starting to pop up, right? That was the most that we had ever thrown since 2008, okay, in a game. So these little numbers are going to start to increase as we move on and as these guys get more and more comfortable in what they're doing. And to me, it's got to cause havoc on a defensive coordinator,
right?
Because you've got a guy that has different skill sets and different things of what they do. And to me, just when you throw in Graham in there, you just really don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know because he's good at both of them. He can run the ball. He can break contain. Shoot, he broke contain the other day and broke somebody's ankles. Man, I'm telling you, he can really do a little bit of both of them, and he probably is the best marksman or best passer that we have. I believe now as far as the strongest arm, I think that might be Lucas Johnson might have the strongest. Because he put one out there the other day that was really online and should have been a better play made for the ball. Exactly. But due to I don't know what it was, if there was a misread or whatever, but there wasn't a play on the ball, but the throw warranted a play.
Yes. And the thing about Tobias, like I've always talked about Tobias and his skill set. I always thought that he had the total package. And so what you start to see is little glimpses, Ken. I saw a backside pass to the receiver on like a 5-yard hitch. And he put some velocity on that ball. I mean, you can actually hear it hitting the receiver's hands. And so I think these guys maybe a lot of the talents for who they are and what they are is still out there. The jury is still out there for what they could possibly be. And I think within themselves, they're growing.
They're growing. And you can tell, right now, Tobias is the far better runner than that we have.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When he comes into the game, awesome. His vision is great. He understands his mesh points. He understands how to kind of slow play it, and then he has a nice burst that gives him a little different. Makes people kind of catch. I think it catches people off guard because you're not expecting him to be that fast. And that quick, and then all of a sudden he's on you or he's by you, and doing that. So I like the combination and what we have going right now. I like what the things that are evolving with the offense. I just want to see him, like I said, if they'd have came out and threw the ball 40-something times, I promise you we'd have people complaining.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because that has not been Tech's identity. But so if they'd have threw it 40 times, they'd have completed, if they'd have just completed half of them, but you had 5 interceptions. Everybody would be, wow, they throwing the ball too much. Why they throwing the ball so much? And we're fans. You can't never make us happy. So you want to make us happy, but you can't really make us happy because it's one of those things that we just don't want to you know, we don't want to admit sometimes that we don't know what we're talking about.
Well, you know, and I think that's the challenges of an administration, a coaching staff, a group of what's going on, the transition for what we see, and you know, and for any fan base. I mean, Texas fan base is no exception. We've seen it all week, all over the fan boards.
Right.
How people feel about a uniform, how people feel about money down.
Right.
You know, how they feel about the way that coach is going about hyping up the program
Right.
and what he's going to do. You know, those type of things. I think you're going to have the naysayers and everything, you
Right.
know, and then of course, you know, at the same time, you know, it's just people trying to give their own perspective on things for what they want to see.
Right.
But I know, Ken, that what we have to understand is this: we are getting older.
Yep.
We are kind of used to certain ways that we like things or saw things. But we got to understand that times are changing.
Times change. Right.
And we've got to let people do that. And what we just need to do is just get on board and enjoy the ride. That's what we got to learn how to do.
Right.
We got to learn how to just enjoy watching our team hit the field and go out there and play some football. And then support them in any way they do it. Because it's like, okay, if money down, you may not quite understand what's going on and what's that, but you do know what they're saying.
Yeah.
Is get loud.
Yeah, and the thing
jump up
and the
and,
thing
you know.
about it is it's no different than saying third down.
Right.
You know,
It's third down.
you know, and the band playing and all that good stuff and yada yada yada.
Uh-huh.
You know, all that's fine. You know, but the money down.
Right.
I don't know who thought about it,
Yeah.
but I like it.
I like it too,
I
Ken.
like it.
Now, see, this
I like
and
it.
let me tell everybody out there that's listening in that, you know, the reason why I like it, it's because it brings energy,
Right.
period.
Yeah.
You know, they could be saying it's the bunny down.
Right.
Okay. Now, you wouldn't understand what the heck bunny down is, but a lot of people don't understand what money down
Right.
is. But the key to it all is, hey, get up on your feet.
Right.
Let's make some serious noise.
Right.
Let's get these
Let's
guys
get excited. Right.
And then let's get these guys amped up to the point where they go out there and make a good play and get off the field.
Right. And it's crazy because on the sideline, I don't know if any of you guys were there Saturday, but on the sidelines, they have the student athletic trainers and all these
And
people.
they call them the juice crew.
The juice crew.
That's the juice crew.
They're holding signs, dollar signs and everything. They're
Yep.
jumping up and down, you know, and you know, it's crazy because when you practice stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you get into a game,
Right.
you automatically go to thinking it's third down. Because I know when I heard in our day, when I heard it's third down, I knew it was time to go.
It was time to go.
You know, we're trying to get off the field.
And if you didn't get enough energy from the crowd, that's the reason why you turn to them
Right,
and you
right.
did stuff like this.
Exactly.
You were like, hey, I want to feel this energy. I want to hear y'all. I want to do this kind of stuff. People said, can y'all hear us? Y'all know
yes.
I said, yeah, we can hear you. And now we learn as players how to tune it out
Right.
so that we can get focused on what we have to do. But it's the ancillary stuff. It's everything else that's going on. When the offensive team approaches the ball and they go and they start calling out their cadence and they can't hear,
Right.
that's disruptive.
That's disruptive.
And
right.
then just to be disruptive takes away a couple of seconds. So it could actually cause them to have a delayed game.
Right.
It could cause them to have a mixed message, an interpretation where this quarterback's going to think, I told him to go right, but he's going left.
Yeah, right.
Those are things that a crowd can impact.
Right.
And that's how you participate. And also, Ken, that football, and I remember my sisters and my mom and everything yelling at them when they used to come to my games. It's not a spectator sport.
Right. You're right.
You have to get involved.
You got to get involved in it.
In
You gotta
football.
you have to get involved in it.
You got to get involved. You just can't come and sit and watch. That's tennis. That's golf. You know there's sports out there.
Yeah.
You know they're for that kind of stuff. But at football though, it's standing on your feet.
It's definitely a
You gotta get in there.
participatory sport. You
Right.
know, we want crowd participation. We want you out there screaming. We want you out there losing your mind. We want your voice weak on Sunday.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
You know, we want all of that when you come to the game. I think it's it's a shame if you come and you don't cheer a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think our fans are getting it. I think the culture change it's changing within our fan base too. So, you know,
Yeah.
and it's going to, and what it's going to do is going to attract a fresh market of young people to come to the games. I think the student body is going to get more involved.
Well, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, Ken. It's about a student body saying, "Hey, Saturdays are for football."
Right.
It's about people that are walking by the stadium, driving by the stadium on a Saturday. Hey, that looks like something that we can do next weekend.
Right.
That's what it's all about. And then, of course, to add the wins to it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're going to get people to join in and do it. But it's the growth process of getting it done, to me, that makes it a whole lot more fun, and a situation there to where you can actually get a little bit excited, get involved in what's going on, and just have a good time on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want to have a good time. You know, Tommy and I are in a spot where we are sitting in the press booth, so we can't really cheer.
And
even
Ken
though
has to remind
I have
me
to
that.
remind Tommy that every week. Tom, shut up. You gonna get us kicked out of here, man.
I'm supposed to be watching and take notes
observing
what's going on and reporting on this kind of stuff. And I'm up there yelling, "Hold on to the ball! Get him!" And you turn around and you see people looking at me like that. So yeah, that's I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it. But hey, I'm a Tech fan first, brother.
Yeah. I think we all Tech fans, and I have to catch myself, especially when my little swilling brethren do something. You know, pride jumps up in me, and I want to cheer a little bit louder and all that good stuff. But it's fun. It's good to win. That was awesome. I think Coach Collins, in his presser, did a really good job of explaining some things, explaining his philosophy, and basically saying the better the guys practice, the more they're playing games.
Right.
And he really talked about the above the line philosophy that we hadn't really talked a lot about it. But
well, how do you like it, Ken? Let's talk about it.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I like the idea that everybody that is above that line has a possibility of going into the ball game, and that they're going to get meaningful reps during the week.
Right.
They're going to be put in position to make plays.
Right.
And they're going to be, it's going to help them be able to do things to their strength. You know what I'm saying? So, you look at that, Saturday, they were rotating guys in and out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially on the defense side of the ball. They were
always look fresh too.
Right. Always look fresh.
It was a hot day, and we always look fresh.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about it, because now you got 2 games in. You'll have 3. In every game, and as they say in the church world, every round goes higher and higher.
Higher and higher.
every round gets. Every week there's a little bit more added pressure to it.
Right.
There's a little bit more added. The stock goes up a little bit.
That's right.
So when you put these young people in position to make plays and to do the things that they can do, then we see them come out and do some good stuff.
That's it.
And you never know what a guy's going to do until he gets into a game in a live game with real live bullets.
Real live bullets. Well, I tell you what. I mean, from our lips to your ears, from Coach Collins' lips to your ears, from even Mark Richt's ears. And I say that because of all the ACC access, and they got a show on there called The Huddle and different things. But you're seeing what people are talking about. You come to Tech right now, you're going to play.
Right, exactly.
If you a baller, you're going to play.
You're going to play, right.
And that's the thing I think for a lot of people you need to get a grasp of, because it's about a team effort,
right?
And it's about being being a person that knows how to play this game,
right?
And if you're going to do that, you're going to get out there and get some meaningful reps and get some airtime, and you're going to be able to play in the flats in front of the television,
right? And because we got a lot of young people that played.
Yeah,
Demetrius Knight played well, and not just out on the field, but making plays.
It was good to see that rotation,
right.
Between Curry, Knight, Swilling, and Charlie Thomas.
Right.
All these guys doing a lot of stuff and getting
Quez
involved.
Jackson,
Quez Jackson. All these guys getting in there and making some things happening, and just seeing the dynamics of them all, formulating some ability to stop the run or stop the pass or get out there and do some things of a combination of both.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was excited to see that rotation and how they do that. Now, something I was thinking about, Ken, because I'm always talking about chemistry and the Braves, talking about them in baseball. They're rotating in a lot of different players right now. And to me, I'm a little nervous about it because I kind of saw them develop a nice little crew that was on a nice little tear, and then when we actually changed up a couple players, then we started losing a few games. But in developing chemistry, I guess from what we've done in off season and everything else, do you believe that we can truly put together a team that has some very tight relationships with one another, that forms a chemistry of winning with a lot of guys like this that we're doing above the line to play? Are we going to be able to formulate and put that together?
I think so, because everybody feels their importance to the team.
Okay.
And when you get an opportunity to play,
Yeah.
you want to hold up your end of the bargain,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think we see that with the Braves. You
Yeah.
mentioned that. Everybody that comes up, everybody that has, we've had some injuries happen with the Braves and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like every time they plug somebody in, that person has a good game, or that person has some good stuff to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that comes down to back to Georgia Tech. I don't want to let my brother down.
Yeah.
I don't want to,
Yeah.
I want to be out there, and I want him to feel like he doesn't have to. He can play half the snaps.
Right.
I got the other half.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Count on me.
And
Count
most of the time in those situations, guys only ask for one or two plays.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
In our day, it was one or two plays.
That's it.
And in every football game, there are a sum total of maybe. It depends on how good the game is, but maybe like this game only had like 5 really major plays.
Right.
In just about every game, unless it's a blowout,
Yeah.
you're going to have maybe 5 to 7 plays.
Exactly.
That's going to determine the outcome. Out of the 70 to 100 plays that you're going to see,
Exactly.
only 5 or 7 of them, or 5 to 7 of them, are going to cause the game to be won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, when you look at it from that perspective, and what Coach Collins is doing is giving these guys an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think especially as a freshman, oh man, I would love that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the rule that they have now, that they can play in 4 games, before we kind of make a determination of what we're going to do. If we're going to redshirt them, we're going to keep them on the developmental squad, or what we're going to do with them. I think that's awesome for them, and you can tell right away if a kid is ready.
And that's something we got to look at too as we go forward, because there's going to be guys that we may feel like should be in the game and they won't be in the game because they're trying to preserve some of that, maybe to stretch it out throughout the course of the season, getting some guys maybe some playing time early, then in the middle of the season, maybe at the end of the season. And I think that, even though that's a cool thing, kid, but to think about it, you can get a little happy with a guy that's doing well, and then you got to decide, well, yeah, he's doing well. So do I really want to commit him all in this year, or do I want to say, let's wait for you to, contribute next year? But of course, being that good of a player, it's going to be hard to put that person on the bench.
It's going to be hard to put them on the bench, and what that does is going to build depth quick.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, because you got a new crop coming in next year,
right?
And you're going to put them through the same rigors and do the same thing,
right?
So you find that, and some guys, might sit down in their sophomore year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As well as, and might have played their freshman year, the 5 games or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 6 games. But I wouldn't want to be a coach and have to make that decision.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's tough, brother. That is absolutely tough, because you had like 22 freshmen, I think, again, that possibly hit that field last week. And these are things that you're looking at. And then for those 2 freshmen, I mean, I'm not sure how they actually do it. I mean, is it 4 games where they just touch the field for one play and then that's it? Or does it have to be a total of, let's just say, 240 minutes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they can break that down throughout the course of the year, and that may be something that we can ask Coach.
I think once you touch the field, I think that's it. That's it. Whether it be on the teams or whatever.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That's.
I know that was the old way.
I know that's the old way. But
I think that might be
that might be a good question to ask. We have to write that question down.
Yeah, we have to write that down and come back to Coach on that. But moving into this week, we got the Citadel.
Yeah.
And and Ken, something also I was thinking about. I said, what was really good about the ACC is that we don't have any team in the conference with the mascot of a bulldog. Not one. And you go out there and you see all these different conferences, and they got somebody that's a bulldog.
That's a bulldog, right?
But we could not get rid of just having, all these Bulldogs around.
Right.
So now we got another Bulldog coming in this weekend with the Citadel Bulldogs. They're 0-2 this year. Okay. Last year they did a good job of actually getting a scare on Alabama for at least a half.
About a half,
For a half. But they've actually put a little fear in them to get them wake them up a little bit, poke that little giant and that bear. But they actually had a last fourth quarter drive that basically allowed them to lose to Elon last week, 35-28. But they're a team that I'm not quite sure where they are this year because, I think that they've lost a couple of key seniors and some key players from last year because it doesn't look like they're getting off to the start like they did last year.
Yeah, and, you look at when teams like I remember playing the Citadel when we played against them, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's the Citadel,"
right?
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't run the option.
They didn't run the option in. They were kind of a pro set kind of team, but they run the option, and they're gonna and it's gonna be a test to us because it's gonna force us to kind of slow down and have to play. Against an option-based team. So, I mean, it's something that our guys should be kind of used to.
Right. Well, it was funny to hear Coach Collins talk about it because it was something that we did all as a natural thing every week, right? But this time he's saying that what we do as a scout unit, we run our plays that are similar to other teams' plays so that our guys develop in understanding, seeing what's going on.
Right.
And they don't use cards.
Right.
Remember when we had the scouts draw what the play is and you just do what your position says do. Well, they have to revert back to cards this week, he said. So that was really funny to hear him say that because they had to basically allow our defense to now get used to what they used to go against, but now basically retrain themselves to understand the responsibilities of doing that. You think that's going to be something that's going to be a little difficult for our guys to do?
It shouldn't be, but as we know, playing against the option as we did for so long, it's a little harder because the read has got to be there. You got to slow yourself down and make sure you're in the right position and make sure you're in the right pocket and do the things that are necessary for you to make the play. Sometimes you're going to be able to blow something up. Sometimes you're going to be able to corral it and just get them on the ground.
Right.
What I want to see them do is make sure that everybody, whoever has the dive, tackle the dive.
Right.
Whoever has the quarterback, tackle the quarterback. Right. Whoever has the pitch, tackle the pitch.
Yeah.
And what Herman Boone used to say, it's just like Novocaine. It's old, but it's effective. You know what I'm saying? And we know it's effective because we've seen it be effective. And it's only effective when you're out of position.
That's it.
And when you're out of pocket and out of space. So you have to, we want to see our young men be in space and be in the right place. And hopefully they'll do that.
Well, yeah. And then, of course, and then focusing then on the offensive side of the ball to actually do a little bit better in your execution, getting the ball in the end zone, and then putting pressure on the Citadel with your ability to score whenever we have the ball. Doing that, of course, puts added pressure on another team so far as that runs the option and everything else, something that we were so familiar about. And in doing that, so far as how we progress as a team, and looking at and moving forward and everything else. On the offensive side of the ball, I believe it's going to be a good opportunity to kind of get more into the newness of what we do, to get out there and stretch out and allow Lucas and Tobias and James to actually show a little bit more of what they can do to throw the ball down the field, because I think that you're going to present, you understand where we are and what type of team it is, but we can't play to their level.
Right.
We got to play at a high level that's always been talked about, but we've got to go out there and execute, and it's a chance that we can go out there and work on our game, especially in the passing game.
Especially in the passing game, I think that's going to be an opportunity that we have to take advantage of this week, and we have to, open up a little bit more.
Yep.
Get Malachi Carter and those guys involved a little bit more into the ball game. I think I'd like to see them, those big guys, get out and catch balls a little bit better because nobody likes to block all the time.
No.
Do they, Tommy?
No, I know I didn't. I know I didn't. and I was like, I want to get out and pass, and I want to catch some balls. And of course, so many people are out there saying they want to see more of the tight ends catch some balls and everything else. So no, you want to get out there and you want to do a little bit of both. You want to be able to knock somebody down a few plays, and then you want to get out there and in space and catch the ball and show people what you can do with it.
Yeah, and that's what I believe this weekend is going to lend to us.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be one of those things that probably going to pass the ball a whole lot more than we've done in the past couple of weeks.
Right.
Hopefully we can get into some good situations that will lead to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we want the game to be a game where it's freewheeling and we can kind of open up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into a bloodbath with the Citadel.
Right.
I don't want to get into one of those situations where we're winning 14-7 or something like that, or we give up early scores or anything like that. Because there's a tendency when you play a team that's from a lesser conference, there's a tendency to let down. And I want to see this week Georgia Tech still be aggressive, still have their foot on the gas pedal, and still be a lot more in tune to what's happening, and not take this opponent as just a pansy.
Well, Coach always talks about playing on a high level, on an elite level, and that's one thing that we cannot let go this week. We cannot stop playing on that level and doing what we're going to do. We don't really know what the Citadel is going to offer, but we do know what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Is that we're supposed to go out there and lay a number on them, go out there and do something and do some great things out there and make that happen. And it's important for us to do that, but we got to work on our game, focus on what we do, and get out there and do it right. From a defensive perspective, how do they get better this week? How do they go out there and get better and start working on things to continue this progression that we're seeing as an upward trajectory on the defense?
Well, I think they still have to, as I said before, that you're playing against an option-based team, so you got to read your keys.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do what you do your job.
Right.
Don't try to be overzealous and try to do somebody else's job, but do what you're supposed to do, and that shows the maturity to me.
Right.
That you can, when you play on a team that's an option team, and I know I've got the tackle to die, but the ball is right there. It's right there. The moment you get greedy, is the moment you open it. When you're not where you're supposed to be.
Right.
You leave a gaping hole, and they get a big play.
Exactly.
And this week it might not go for a touchdown.
There you go.
But you can't even give them an opportunity to get rolling.
Right.
Because we've seen it over and over again. Once Big Mo gets on the team side, a lot of different things can happen.
A lot of things
can happen.
You gotta suppress that momentum on Saturday. Make sure that all that momentum stays on our side. Scott Gold said our defense should have experience defending the option, and yes, we're right about that. But of course, like you talked about, it comes down to responsibilities, and don't get greedy, and got to be disciplined about what you're doing, and going out there and making sure that we do and we shut that thing down. Scott, it'd be also good to let us know your perspective about the offensive line. Scott Gold played with us back in the 1990 championship team, and he had a lot of good times out there and doing some good stuff as an offensive lineman out there. Scott, I'm interested in your perspective about how the offensive line is doing. Because Ken, you and I talked about that a little bit. At times that we look pretty good, and at times we look a little lost. And so it's one of those things. I feel like it's a work in progress still. That these guys are still trying to understand the screens and everything else, where to put their eyes and how to get out there and be effective and do what's right as an offensive lineman. And
that's the thing about it, especially from that perspective, because we saw some things Saturday.
Yes.
We're running a screenplay, and we've got, one of our linemen looking in the backfield. I'm like, okay, you're not supposed to be worried about him.
Right.
You've got to turn around and block the guys that are coming to get him.
Exactly.
So, I'm trying to understand, I know he probably wasn't coached that way.
Exactly.
But, in a new system, there are going to be some things that are missed. And, I'd like to see them have better pass sets and all that good stuff, and, give these guys a little bit more time to get the ball off and do the things that they need to do, from an offensive standpoint. I just want to see offensively, I want to see them continue to grow and put more layers into the offense, more wrinkles into and you can kind of see it's kind of being spoon fed, week by week by week by week. The progression is going to be a little bit different, so that when we, as one of our media cohorts would say, we're saving something for Jordan. By the time Skip Sater, by the time
What's up, Skip?
By the time we get to Georgia, we'll have a full bevy of of different plays and different
that
things
we would have had perfected,
that would have perfected,
but haven't shown.
So
oh my God, and I hope we don't do that. I hope we do not hold back all year long on that. That would be really crazy, really, really crazy. Well, I'll tell you some numbers that we saw on Saturday. Jordan Mason had 20 carries for a net of 99 yards.
Right.
So that was a good a breakout sort of game for him, bit to shake it, to stretch his legs a little bit and everything else.
Right.
And he was pretty excited about his opportunities out there and spoke to us about, some of the things that he saw out there as a collective unit as them starting to come together in the run game.
Yeah, and the run game and his pass protection was really good.
Right.
We really saw him get in there and do some real good stone work, stone
at the line of scrimmage.
And, when that blitzing linebacker came, he was able to step up in the pocket and really do some things. And he's, our running game is going to depend on him being healthy, he and Jerry Howard being healthy and being those guys and kind of being the leaders now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You got a lot of young. There's one thing about this team. You got a lot of young people on it. So you don't have a lot of seniors. You don't have a lot of we got some juniors, but not a lot of seniors. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where we'll have to keep watching and keep waiting and just watch this thing unfurl and watch these young guys develop. I think that's a beautiful thing when you see, they've got talent.
Yeah.
But you just want to see them get better each week after each week after each week. And I believe the way Coach Collins has them practice, and we were down there for doing the spring, and we saw the insane kind of practice.
Yeah,
I can't imagine the end season is like,
they still do it. End season is the same way, brother. It's the same. That music, they got the DJ over there and they're doing their thing, and the transitions and everything are still hot and heavy. And when they blow that whistle to start practice, man, you are on the move.
You're on the move. You're on the move. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, you talked about the foundation building, and I think that's one thing that I'm noticing, Ken, too, is that I feel like we are establishing things that we're building on from week to week. It's just week 2 now, of course. But at the same time, we've seen in the past where we've hit week 2 or 3, and it looks like we haven't established any ground or any kind of foundation for where we are. And watch coaches be as frustrated about that as well as fans, but just kind of not developing any sort of identity for where you are.
Right.
I think that we're showing that. I think we're showing where our quarterbacks fit, where their strengths and weaknesses are right now, what we can and cannot do at this juncture.
Right.
But then we're showing something that we're able to do this week that we weren't able to do last week.
Right.
And that to me is growth, and that's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. And, I was just sitting here thinking, and you talked about the quarterback play, and we've talked about it a little bit. But it was amazing to me that, on third downs and some second downs, you were changing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You were just in that flow of the game, just whoever fit the moment.
Right.
You put them out there. We put Lucas Johnson and I'm not Lucas Johnson, but James Graham and Tobias Oliver on the field together. At one point.
Absolutely.
And you already know what's getting ready to happen. Right? You already know that they're going to run the toss, or they're going to run the little reverse or whatever, or the option play with him. And then he's going to pitch it out to him, and next thing you know, he's going to add out. I mean, I saw that coming. I was like, okay, here it comes. Here it comes. So,
but I love it. It keeps the defense on edge. It keeps them on their toes, on their heels. the ultimate surprise, of what you're looking at there. Scott answered our question out there, and he talked about how he saw a lot of backside cutting still going on, something like that. And then we're going to have to ask Coach about that because he's right. He said when you start to get linemen on the ground, you sort of take away cutback lanes.
Right.
You kind of block up some areas there. That might be a situation where they're kind of doing some of what they used to know to do.
Right.
But now they got to learn how to stay up.
Right.
And how to block guys so that they can keep running lanes out there.
Right.
Talking to Coach Choice about some of the things that he's talked about, and he said he was very hard and he's very critical about the way he used to do things, and he expects his guys to be better than what he was. And so you're looking for the running game to complement that because they've always talked about a 50-50 deal. So we're going to have a good running game and going to have the good passing game. And along with what the defense is doing right now, Ken, it tells me that we should be able to get at least 10 extra plays a game.
Right.
So there's going to be some areas there of what we're going to do with those 10 plays and then whether they're going to be more balanced or they're going to shift to more of the running and the passing. And I think the way we go, if we're doing the right thing in both phases of the game, you probably can see those plays evenly distributed.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what will happen because – I mean, you like you said, we own it in week 2. So
yeah.
So and the
so much you want to get into and talk about, but it's just week 2.
It's just week 2.
Yeah.
So we just have to give it this same time to. It's like peeling an onion.
Yeah.
You just got to take layer by layer and roll that thing back and see what happens. You just from the defensive standpoint, I really think they're going to get better each week. I mean, you can see it. You can just see them really, getting lathered up and doing the things that they need to do to get off the field. Like I said, the communication last week was great, and I anticipate it to be even better as time goes on. Because when you're playing that many people, and that's the thing. Not a problem, but that's the thing. When you're playing that many people and the communication is at that high level, that speaks to coaching.
Yeah,
that speaks to film study.
Right.
It speaks to all of those different things that we talk about all the time. You just can't be great on Saturday.
Right.
You got to start being great on Sunday night. On Sunday night.
I talk to the kids all the time, and Coach, you just can't flip a switch. It's one of those things that during practice, you have to practice at the level that you are going to be playing.
Right.
Your intensity level of the way you start, the way you go through the play, and then the way you finish the play, all has to be the same. You'll take those plays off, or you'll do just a little bit different. The way you carry out your fakes, different things that you do, they're very vital and important. And you just don't understand who you're influencing. What guy has his eyes on you that you're trying to get him to get out of position so that you guys can get in better position. So talk about our eyes on what we were looking at, Ken. We were looking at that whole game experience. We talked a little bit about the money down, right?
Right.
And what's going on there. How did you feel about watching our first home game and that game experience out there?
It was really interesting. I thought it was,
Tell the truth about it.
Tell the truth. You want me to tell the truth?
Tell the truth.
I wanted more fans to be there.
There you go.
I wanted us to show up a little bit better than we did.
Right.
I think, from a standpoint, and everybody that was there, appreciate everybody coming out.
Because it was hot.
Because it was a hot day. Like I said, I melted twice. And when I got up to the press box, I sweated through my my shirt and my shorts and everything else, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God, this is really odd. How are they gonna play today?
Right?
Because I needed 2 oxygen masks and some water and a little bit of everything else. But I just want to see us do as fans. I want to see us be a little bit more excited about it, a little bit more in tune. And as we always say, don't wait till this thing is already boiling.
Right.
Be a part of the fire, baby.
That's it.
Be a part of the fire.
That's
it.
That's be the reason for
be
the
the
season.
reason for the be the reason.
Be the reason for the season.
Yeah,
I mean, when they talk about how electrifying this year is, let's just say that we end up doing some things that people don't expect us doing.
Right.
Well, you could talk about how the crowd was also something people didn't expect either.
Right.
And we've had those stories already.
Right.
We had a record crowd at the spring game. Like you said, the number for who was supposed to be in the house was good
Right.
for Saturday's game. And then we saw, some good things with the crowd, making some good noise, getting
Right,
involved,
right.
that kind of stuff. So those were a lot of the good things that we like seeing. But now what we got to do is just turn it up as fans.
Turn it up, yeah.
You want to see some things happening. So let's look at it. You got uniform situations, right? Ken, those uniforms were butter.
I mean, I'm telling you,
I
man,
loved it.
Tom, I'm telling you right now, man. I wish, for just one moment, I could be 18 again. Yeah. If nothing else but to wear the Georgia Tech gear again, because I still got Pumas and what do we wear? Ponies.
Ponies.
I still got ponies on my mind. You know what I'm saying? So, these kids are dressed and, like I said, to a 48-year-old man, that means absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? But to a 18-year-old kid, I'm telling you right now, it's everything. They want to be swagged out. They want to be, looking good.
Yeah.
They want to have all the fresh accoutrements that make up a football player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I saw myself in that white, man, that white on white with the 404 on the sleeve and all this stuff, man. I was like, oh my God.
Silky white helmet.
And the white helmet.
Blue outline.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, that was really, really nice. It was really, really colorful in there. It was really
and that one back there, that big one with that dark visor back there. Seeing you back there in that visor.
I gotta teach him how to swag it out. I gotta teach him how to swag it. I want him to swag it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta teach him how to do that.
They still can learn.
They still can learn a little bit more.
Learn something.
You know what I'm saying? But when you look at all of that good stuff, that's the fun part of the football side of it. Being able to have all that gear. I'm like, my God, everything I wore was Georgia Tech stuff, and I could only imagine right now what I would be wearing.
And we had old Major Reeves back in the day. And Major Reeves, if it was up to him, we were playing the same thing every day.
What do you need with that?
A helmet. What you need a helmet for? And it was like, well, Coach, they say we got to play with helmets today. What's wrong with yours? We don't have a face mask. Don't worry about it. Just glue it on. Boy, they were so tight with that stuff. But I mean, it was really good at that. The money down was a discussion with a lot of people, not understanding a little bit about that. A lot of people were saying that they didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah. And then, of course, we heard a whole lot of people that loved it. So, so you kind of have the jury's kind of out on that. And I think it's just kind of has to grow on some people.
But it
might be just a generational thing.
It's generational, and it's just a culture change.
Just a culture change. That's true.
Because every rap song they played was about somebody getting money,
right?
And all that good stuff. And that is the culture shock for me. How much rap is actually played at Georgia State? So I'm sitting, and I'm 48, and I've been in hip hop generation since it started. And I don't really know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're saying.
I don't know we getting old, bro.
We getting old, man. So
whether we like it or not, we are getting old. Because we had one of our boys from from another station that was there that we often see at the games, and he looked at us and said, "I have no idea what they're saying." And he's younger than us.
Yeah, he's younger than we are.
Younger than us. So I felt kind of good about that, because I was like, "Hey, I thought it was just me. I didn't know what was going on." But also from that perspective, Ken, you looked at from the sound of the music. Today rap is a crossover,
right?
So you got many faces,
and many faces, right?
That actually like the music,
right?
And what's going on in our time, you knew who liked rock and roll, and you knew who liked rap. Who like R&B, who like pop. It was kind of very distinct lines.
Right.
It's a big melting pot.
It's a big melting pot right now.
And that's kind of things that people got to understand. And then if you kind of look a little bit deeper, it's just something that's going to energize you about what's going on. Just like somebody even talked about the Caroline song, and they associated Sweet Caroline with Northern sports, not with Southern sports. And I was like, wow. I said, well, so where were they in looking at the Carolina Panthers, because that's what they play all the time.
They played it all the time,
all the time.
Yeah.
But to understand this, it's a great song,
right?
That's what it is, and it's something that gets everybody involved. You can turn that volume down, and the whole crowd will be singing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what it's for.
Right.
Is to get everybody involved and everybody in there.
Right.
Somebody asked Joe Hamilton. Joe, appreciate you tuning in with us tonight. Mr. Hall of Famer and College Football Hall of Fame and all that good stuff. But we love Joe and everything. But Joe is on here as a quarterback, and somebody asked him what is his perspective on the quarterbacks. And Joe was just saying that he needs somebody to separate themselves.
We've said that
And
same
we've
thing.
said the same thing. We said the same thing. So the message is an identical message
Right.
going through there. And so it's one thing I just want to kind of throw back, because we're talking about the newness of things and how things are done, because that, again, kind of tells us a little bit of our age,
Right.
to where we feel like if you have three, you don't have any.
You don't have any. Yeah.
But today, can you have three and have something?
yeah.
Can it be a trifecta?
It can work, but I'm with Joe. I'm an old
Yeah.
school old head.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one of these guys step up and be like, okay, this is my job. This is what I want to do.
Right.
And I'm going to be the leader of this team.
Right.
And then I'd like to see the coaches. And I don't think in this iteration of Georgia Tech's situation, I don't think that's actually going to happen this season.
Yeah.
I think it might happen more next season.
Okay.
But I don't think it. I think what we have right now is what we're going to see for the remainder of the season. I think,
Right.
just because of how it's kind of playing out, barring injury, barring all that good stuff, and then you get down to, okay, you the guy because everybody else got hurt. I'd like to see a separation. I'd like to see Tobias. If Tobias got better passing the ball,
Yeah.
he would be my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I have trust in him.
Right.
Because I like the way he moves the ball, I like the way he moves the team. I like the way his command in the huddle seems real good. He has a really good presence about him. And the moment is never too big for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he would be my guy. But that's just personal. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're not at practice every day, so we don't see them kind of operate in an everyday mode. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, Andy, you said that the money down might make more sense on the fourth down. I could be a little slow on this one. I'm not sure how.
Well, the money down is a third down, because the money down's got to be on third down, because that's the down you want to get off on.
Exactly.
We're trying to get off the field,
Right.
On third down.
Fourth down is when they send the ball back to us.
Right.
And so
in essence, we're collecting money on fourth down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're just counting the money right now.
So it's got to be on third. It's got to be on third
It's got
down.
to be on third. So
It's got to be on third down.
I was just kind of wondering how that would work out there. But that's okay, though, because we appreciate you commenting there and tuning in and participating. So as we wrap this up, another week. Another week has gone by. Tech is 1-1 now. And now we have a chance to be 2-1, get ourselves above 500. And we just got to show up and we got to show out on Saturday, 12:30, going back to the RSN, the Raycom Sports.
Right.
So you can check that out on Raycom Sports on Saturday. And Tech has to do what, Ken?
They got to win and win convincingly.
And that's always going to be the most important thing.
Yeah, that's going to be the most
forward.
important thing. I mean, that's the thing they have to do. They have to win. I think this game is a game you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
I want to see them come out and play with poise, play with confidence, and keep themselves, above the line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep themselves, holding true to what the tenets they believe in, and trying to make sure that they play well and don't take the Citadel lightly, and get things done that they need to get done, and get a lot of people in the game and all that good stuff. And offensively, want to see them throw the ball a little bit more. Want to see them, establish the run game, and then even. What we saw a little bit Saturday was the RPO stuff starting to come around.
There you go.
So we want to see a little bit that develop a little bit more. So, and tight ends, when you get a chance to catch the ball, keep a hold of it, baby.
Don't fumble.
Don't fumble. Don't fumble.
Don't do me like that, tight. Just don't do me like that.
Yeah.
We hold on to the ball. Okay.
But from that standpoint, you just want to see them start taking steps and develop a little bit more. Defensively, you want to keep them doing the same thing they've been doing. They've just be consistent and press the do what they need to do to get pressure on the quarterback when there's passing down, get off the field on third downs, and protect the ball.
I think that's what it's just all about. It's about getting better at every position in
Right.
every situation going forward. Tech has done an exceptional job in the penalties area.
Right.
I think we only have 4 penalties total after 2 weeks, and so that's a phenomenal job. It speaks to discipline
Right.
about what's happening out there. Quarterbacks get better at utilizing your receivers and getting some more people involved. We're starting to see certain people become those type of receivers that can push the field, stretch the field, do some good things. So to get them more involved in doing that, running game starting to open it up a little bit
Right.
more, getting out there and asserting ourselves and doing that, because we're going to start to hit the ACC schedule a little bit, okay, coming up out of this. And you're looking at some things happening. We got North Carolina right away that's playing exceptionally well right now. So we're going to really need on
Mac
top
Brown.
on game. Oh, Mac Brown, right? Trying to bring it back to the old powder blue powder puffs.
The return of the Mac.
The
baby.
return of the Mac. Well, we got to give them. It depends. I know. One thing I'm hoping that they do is they don't lose this weekend.
Right.
I hope they beat Miami. I want them to come in as high as they possibly can,
right.
so that we can get out there and assert ourselves and do some good things. Make that a really one of the staple games of the week.
Right.
Okay. Doing some things with that. But I believe with Tech, we just got to continue to build on what we've been building on and continue to get better every single week.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. Another shout out we forgot about Percy Harvin. We talked about him the other day. But
I kept saying in my mind, I'm going to say it next segment. That's right. Absolutely. Percy Harvin, just what we knew he could do, but he just did it better. It was just on stage, and it was emphasized. Beautiful punts, pinning them deep in their territory, reversing the field. He had a couple of muffs, and he was doing that kind of thing, but he came back strong and did a great job there at punting and really showing his leg. He's going to get. It seems like he's going to get an opportunity to do a little bit more of that this year, Ken, than he has in the past.
Right.
And getting out there and doing and being an instrumental part in the success of what we do here at Tech.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Like I said, had those punts inside the 20. I think 4 of them, or whatever, and then had the big booming 55-yard punt.
There you go.
So those are things that change the field position and kind of puts people on their backs when we need them to, and that's a beautiful thing. Tom, you were talking about UNC and Miami. They played last week, and UNC did beat Miami. So.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did too. I'm looking right at it, Tom.
Where am I been?
I don't know where you at.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired. I must be real tired. That's what I must be, because they played South Carolina and then they beat Miami.
Did they beat Miami?
That's right.
And then they played Wake Forest.
They sure
next,
did.
so,
They sure did. Absolutely.
Matter of fact, they played Wake Forest Friday night. So.
Well, see, I'm just real smart. See, I told y'all. Bet money on it this week. North Carolina's going to beat Miami. Bet on it.
Well, it's already happened. It's already happened.
Oh, my wife can attest to the lack of sleep I've been getting. But hey, it's one of those things, man. But okay, so but Miami is, but North Carolina's riding high. We still want them to come up in here. And we go in and actually assert ourselves of what we need to do to make that happen. I think they actually play. Who they play? William and Mary this week.
Who?
North Carolina.
North Carolina play Wake Forest this week.
They play Wake Forest this week
on Friday night. On Friday night,
and it's considered a non-conference game. Did you hear that? It's considered a non-conference game because you know how when we broke the divisions up and we started the restructuring idea, you used to have teams that played each other, but then you had to break up some of those relationships. Tobacco Row, of course, was so intertwined. Well, you can only have a certain amount of games in the conference, and what they did was they set this up as this had to be a non-conference slot. So this was something that they arranged to actually play each other, but it won't count as a conference game.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting, right?
Very much so.
And some people are saying that they need to do this more in other conferences just so that you can have more interconference play.
Yeah.
And to set that up, even though it doesn't count, but it's just allowing everybody to play more within the conference.
Within the conference.
And outside the conference.
Makes sense, and it probably could let you hold on to a rivalry that you probably had to might have had to let go of or something like that too.
Because I guess you only lose the conference ratings, but you still get the the wins towards your bowl eligibility and everything else. Well, we're gonna end it on that note, okay? And better than the note of me actually them playing Miami this week. That would have been a whole lot better. But we greatly appreciate y'all tuning in, man. So happy that Reese Mayfield. Appreciate you tuning in with us. Deborah, good to hear from you. I hope everything is okay for you and that you can work us through some things over there. So we pray and continue to keep you in our prayers. Everybody that's checked in with us, Scott Gold, Joe Hamilton, Ridgeway, Mark Ridgeway, all the guys out there, Tech fans that have joined in with us today. We appreciate you. Dexter Printup, we love y'all. Look for y'all. I'm going to miss y'all Saturday. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to be there. I got some other things I got to work on.
He coaching a game.
Yeah, I got to coach a game out of state, that kind of thing. So, but my boy's gonna be in there. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna keep y'all still in tune to what's going on and what's happening. And I'll probably find a way if I can to kind of tune in a little bit and check in on y'all.
There you go.
But we love y'all for tuning in with us today. Continue to like our page. Tell everybody about us. Spread the word. Yellow Jacket Nation, this is where you get it all from a player's perspective. Right here with Ken Swillen, Tom Covington, engineer Kim Jackson behind the board, right here in Seven Springs Studio. We love y'all. Take care. See you next week, Wednesday night, 7:30. Peace.
Peace.